Hi guys, Father Time here. So if you haven't been following along, we've been trying to do a simulated rating ride in the A310 by IniBuilds that we all have available to us on Microsoft Flight Simulator. So the first day we did the ILS Category 3 with a full pre-flight. Second day we took off with the FAA and the check airmen in the seats. And we did a non-ILS engine failure work on takeoff, hand-flown engine failure, approach and landing. Had to do a go-round out of the non-ILS to a hand-flown visual approach. Would have had to do area work and holding and some combination of upset recoveries or escape maneuvers from terrain or wind shear. Would have had to do that in the simulator. In the aircraft, maybe steep turns or something. But anyway, the last day would be a loft, line-oriented flight training where you try to test normal procedures. Today we're going to be flying from, as you can see, Bradley, Windsor, Locks, which is Hartford, Springfield area, to JFK in a stormy weather. Cold, dark airplane. If you haven't watched the other two, if you wouldn't mind, go back and watch them. That's segment 1 and 2, which takes you through the first parts of this check ride. This would be kind of the grand finale. If you were actually with the airlines, you'd go out and fly with a check airman for 25 hours after you get signed off. If it were your first time ever checking out, I'm just going to talk why this reboots, by the way. First time ever being checked out as captain, the FAA has to ride in your first actual 25 hours to sign you off in the aircraft. But here we are at Hartford, Springfield in stormy weather. We're going to start engines, take off, and get ourselves over to Kennedy. Everything that we do here will be in the description below. Initialization, all that stuff, DIFSRIP. We already explained it all. There's 8,000 videos out there on this airplane. It's fantastic. We are so lucky to have this airplane for free. It's A310. I have 4,000 hours in it, albeit from 1997. Actually trained in Toulouse, then came back, and I did a lot of my checkout. We didn't have simulators. I had to do it up at, believe it or not, Bradley, Springfield. Took out of Kennedy, came up to Bradley and did some approaches and landings with the FAA for the first cadre with the aircraft. I retire in September, 20,000 hours. I could use subscribe and a like if you want. If you don't want, that's fine too. But I'm trying to do this as part of my retirement coming up in September. Just play with this, do some other things. Not a golfer, so I'm looking for entertainment. So anyway, other than my wife wondering what I'm doing down here in the basement, I'm really enjoying this. Here we go, ready to fly. We do the look outside. Make sure there's we got chocks. Nobody's working on the gear doors or the engines. Come in the cockpit. Oh, we already explained all this 1,000 times. So pretty much going to do a checking the lights, PBE, oxygen bottle, books, crash acts, light bulbs. Okay. Come down here. Radar is off. A few levers. I'm just going to mumble because we've already explained all this. Flaps and spoilers down, gears down. Wipers are off. Time to start the batteries. 1, 2, 3. And it worked. And let's go external power on. Galley shed is off. We come down here, we check the annunciators. Emergency lights, rather, that's the wrong one. Annunciators. One I'm really looking for is this low pressure, this on light, electric pumps. So I want to make sure when I turn this off that those are off. And they are. So it's going to hurt anyone. So the power is on. Checked all that. Let's test the APU. Squib. Fire test. Loop test. Fire handle light comes on. ICAS checks. Master warning lights on. It's off. And now we can start the APU. Get that cranking. Gonna go APU master switch to on. Start switch hold. It's going to take a couple of minutes to go. And when I do that, as a technique, I put on the APU page on the ICAS to monitor the start down here. That's your hint that really we ought to be up here. Let's get these IRUs up and running. 7 to 10 minutes, so we want to get them going here. Nav. I'll give you the captain's perspective on all this. That's attitude, one step too far. Nav. And I put this on status up here, and the reason is I can monitor, it'll start giving you a countdown of how much time in just a few minutes. Once it's aligning, come on in here, do your DIFSRIP, which is an acronym used by Airbus. So the D is database is good. Init, page A. I put in KBDL. Line IRS, we know that, guys. KBDL to KJFK. Yeah, this IniBuild, guys, I would start at the beginning, start with the IniBuild videos. Once we get those in here, guys, is the flight plan. No SID, though. I'm going to line the IRSs. Right, while I'm here, I'm going to fill this out. So we'll call ourselves INI 100. Remember, this is a rich guy, shut down Bradley and Kennedy for the day. He's just flying around, don't need to call ATC. I'm going to put 12,000. This is stuff you could do after alignment. We're doing it now. 40 is a good cost index no matter which transport category you're in, just to get you started. And we'll say Newark's our alternate. And we're going to do our little normal flight, and there we go. All right, that's doing. We would go, APU low pressure. That's because you've got to turn on this pump. Okay. And, but it did look like it started. It was fast. So I'm going to turn off external. And whenever I do that, I come in this airplane, and I turn off GPU on the box. We'll talk more about that later. Okay. So we initialize the FMS, we go outside, we do the walk around, come back in, we start with the overhead. I'm going to turn the seatbelt signs on, chime the flight attendants with no smoking, though we don't have any flight attendants. I'm going to turn the dome light on to bright, storm lights on, because we're going to go into around thunderstorms. Bright, we got blue-green hydraulics, all good, all good, all good. It's all normal lights. Flight recorder is good, no lights. See, this says 5 minutes to align. What's this? So nav to 1, I already explained all this on my previous videos, but we'll do it. Temperature is above 10, so we're not going to need wing and engine anti-ice. Auto thrust system is on, yaw dampers are on, but if you try to turn on the pitch trim, they're not going to come on. Doop, pops off. That's because the IRSs aren't aligned. If you don't get flight director bars, that's why the IRSs aren't aligned. So anyway, we come up here, all the hydraulic panels are the APU electrical panel is normal. All these lights are normal, normal, normal. Check the squib test. It's good. Loop test. A and B loops, fire handle, ICAS checks. All these volts and freaks are good. HF radios are off. Just mumbling through it, guys, because we already went through this a bunch. Engine ignition, we'll get to A in a minute. Whites out policy in the Airbus. So white lights are all out. We'll turn on all the pumps. They're on. Cross feed's closed. Fire's already checked. This is our, basically we use this one for A cars. This is our redundant gear down indication for backup. Pressurization, we'll use system 1 or 2 depending on the day or your company's preferences. I turn on the window heat now. Usually don't turn on these guys till right before our engines start to keep the load down on the generators. On the APU generator, propheats are all out, lights are out, cargo's out, oxygen's out, consistent with the white light policy, right? And it's in the green band, that's good. Squib test is good. Loop test, A, B, handle, boop. ICAS checks, good warning light, punch it off. Overboard exhaust, get smoke, we manually do it, otherwise it operates automatically to open and close upon depressurization and cool the equipment cooling panel. Emergency light switches are armed. APU, let's get that on, and the pressure is good for start, above 25, I think it might be 30. Everything's good here, the volts and freaks are all good, pressure's good. Come down here, set our engine out, it's 180 feet here. There's no engine out procedure. We'll set 980, which is 800 AFL. Altimeters are set. Pilot, FO sets their own. Let's get these pitch trims on now because, oh wait a minute, I still got 2 minutes to go on the RUs, so it's not letting me do that. Clock set, come down the center panel. Everything looks good, no exceedances. We already talked about this down, this down, this down. Flaps are up. Make sure the flap slats agree with the handle, the gauge. It's off. Way the rudder is still off. Rudder trim is 0. Aileron trim 0. You check that up here. Check rudder trim in the window. All right. Let's see if we, how much do we have, time do we have up there? Still says 2 minutes on the IRUs. But usually around 1 or 2 minutes, pitch trims will stay on. They do. I guess it's aligned enough. See, there are your bars. All right, so we're going to set 160. We're going to set up our Init down here, and Init B, which is next page. And we're going to set up the 0 fuel weight, takeoff weight, 0 fuel weight CG. We do that using our handy dandy IniBuilds book. Oh, you know what? We are going to have to set up this to get that to work. So sit out of here, and then runway 24, Bradley 6, and insert it. And while we're here, let's go all the way down to Kennedy. It's going to get busy on our arrival with all the weather. Kennedy star, ILS 22 left, and no arrival, and insert it. That's all good. And while I'm thinking of it, I set up the ILS to come back in here. 110.9, 224. Can't really see it, can I? You know why? Dome light. Yeah, all these lights gotta come down for me to see it. Turn off the storm too. Here we go. 10.9, 224. Now I just told you that was the ILS to come back in here if we need it. I'm lying. This is the ILS for Kennedy. And the reason I'm setting it up now is it's going to be very busy. And this is kind of, as you can see, a laborious process getting 224 set in here. So I'm going to get it set right out of Bradley. Little Simsmanship. Don't tell Steve, the FAA guy. Yeah, go back and watch number 1 and 2 and try to take this check ride. Type rating. Yeah, do it over a few times if you have to. It's kind of cool. All right, 224. This is the last part, line-oriented flight training. You do so many emergency procedures, they want to make sure you have your pilot flying, pilot monitoring duties all down, not just your emergency procedures. Okay, part of this is a secondary. We got to copy it. Copy the active. Init. Next page. We come in here. Passengers. Let's say that I'm bringing your entire extended family with us. Cargo, all their bags. And I like a lot of fuel. 44,000 pounds. Gives me a 0 fuel weight of 190.6. I'm back over here. It's just an IniBuilds thing. Nothing to do with the Airbus. 190.6. Fuel is 43.2. And CG was 28, I do believe. .28 with 4 degrees up on the trim. .4 up is 0, right? That's 2. .4 up is the other way. There it is. .4 up. All right, so the TPS say page 2 is set. Now performance. What do we got over here? We get that off this pad too. We go. Let's go back and find out our fuel again. Our takeoff weight's 235.3. So 235.3. Put that in there. 235.3. Okay. Runway length. Bradley 95.4 right there. Put it in because they had loaded it. Altimeter is 2992. Yeah, IniBuild makes a lot of great movies explaining all this stuff. Now calculate. If it doesn't calculate a red pop like this, oh, forgot to put in the runway heading, 237. Now it should calculate. 59 flex temp, then 36, 37, 61. 136. 137. And 161 we put in up here on the indicator airspeed. 161, that's V2. So the way you work the Airbus is put 161 in here. We're going to take off in profile. Then you preset 250. It's just the way it is. So 161. Right click on the mouse. Preset all the way up to 250. Sorry. Slow, huh? This is how you do it. I just got back from New Delhi, India. I am really tired. And I got back yesterday. So, I'm trying to get this couple of videos done. And then I'm going to go heading select, the runway heading. Now I set 224, 237. So is the panel going to be set? Yes. At 250 is our preset, 161 behind the window. It's our V2. 12,000 is our altitude. 237 in this window. This is runway heading. It is not easy. You know, I have a Logitech here at home. It kind of works sometimes, and it doesn't other times. It is a total hassle. Because when it works, man, it's helpful. I can spin this stuff. It saves me a lot of time and effort, especially a one-man crew, right? Especially with Steve in the jump seat. Oh, is it going to work this time? Look at that. Look at that. Let's go the other way. Sorry you had to witness this, guys. It's harder on me than it is on you. All that I want is a 237 in that window. When it happens, I'm going to be very happy. Yes. 237. So what do we got here? Hit profile. Profile, 237, 980 engine out. Headings. We're going to go runway heading, use the profile climb. We're going to use auto here. Max on the auto brakes. We'll do that later. Spoiler lever is going to be armed. We'll do that after engine start. All right, we get pushed back, but we're not pushing back. Instead, we're going to start engines. So checklist is complete. We get permission to start from ramp or whatever. Beacons are on. We have good pressure over here in the APU. The way we start, we're going to start the right engine first. We're going to use crank A, start A, just because it's an odd number day or something. Now we hit the right start switch. It opens up. It's going to stay open until 45%. Now what we're looking for is a secondary engine page displayed with this button right down here. And we're looking for 20% N2. We're looking for oil pressure rise, which we're getting. 20% N2, fuel lever up. Looking for ignition. We used to hack the clocks. Initial within 20 seconds. There it goes. Monitoring oil pressure, monitoring EGT. Now after engine starts, if you're less than 10 degrees outside, which we're not, it's 14, we would turn on the engine ice. But at 45%, you're going to hear the start valve close. You have a click. Listen. Hear that click? That's a click. A little after 45, wasn't it? Now the little acronym we use here at the Airbus world is 2468. This is going to come down to 2, 4, 6. So it's going to stabilize around 20%, 400 on the EGT, 60 on the N2. We say 2468 because it should have gulped the oil about 2 degrees. That reminds us to check the oil pressure. All right, let's do the, and no engine ice is necessary. Do the left start switch, start valve open, look for 20%. the secondary engine instruments are displayed. Seeing an oil pressure rise, are we? Yes, there it is. That's good. So there's 20%. Fuel lever up, on, run, whatever you want to say. So many different airplanes going through my head. I fly the 777 for real, and I'll tell you, before I go, I have to not do any of this stuff for the whole day before I go. I just look at 777 stuff because I get really immersed in the stuff. So you've got to be smart with it. It goes for any airplane to fly. Monitoring good oil pressure, good oil temperature. You've got 45%, 2, 4, 6, 8. The oil start valve is closed. Now this we go to start. We go to continuous relight. We're done with the APU, so we can shut off the APU. Our flow, our trigger was second engine started. We trigger is and our flow is continuous. Ignition, APU is off, bleed air is off. Spoilers armed, flaps 15. All right, and then auto brakes to max. So you got that. Engine oil on. Engine ice on. Continuous ignition to continuous, ignition to continuous, APU bleed switch off, APU off, spoilers armed, flaps 15, auto brakes to max, and everything looks good. All right, we're going to taxi out to 24 and take off. Let's look around the airplane. He's not going to leave, guys. You know, I wonder if we can get him to leave. Just out of curiosity. I actually haven't ever tried to get him to go away. Let's do this. Yeah, I don't know how to get him to go away. Let's pretend he went away, all right? Pretend he went away. All right, guys. You ready to go back there? Steve, FAA guy, Bob the check airman. Let's go see if I can pass this check ride. Are we now looking out here? There's a lot of weather in the area. You definitely want to make sure you have the weather radar on. Let's put the weather radar on. Pitch, tilt a little up. Not that much. I'm going to put it at 0, guys. All right, I think we're ready. Let's do this. And we're going to pretend that truck's not below us, okay? I want to get the taxi lights on. Away we go. I'll see it outside. See if he gets out of the way. Oh gosh. Took him out, baby. Took him out. Pretend that didn't happen, right? Let's taxi on out. All right, we're in the ramp area. We're taxiing. Things we're thinking about, the weather. We're talking about it. I would pre-brief wind shear. Guys, there's thunderstorms in the area. We have to escape. It's autopilot, auto throttles off, throttles full forward, pitch rotate to 15 degrees, check speed brake retracted, 15 degrees to follow the wind shear command bars. We get a wind shear warning in that case. It's an escape maneuver to get the heck out of there. When we talk about use of radar on departure, my thing would be to the FO, if you see any pilot monitoring, if you think we need to turn right or left, just request it. Let's not fly through any weather. Don't let me fly through weather. You don't have to. I'll be proactive as well. I would tell the crew, wherever it is, in this case, you guys back there watching on the press, just to try to get my type rating, to remain seated after takeoff. I would get on the PA right now and say, flight attendants prepare for takeoff, or whoever's back there. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get the lights all on now, because it's going to get real busy down here. Strobes to auto. Gonna fly formation with this bus. This is normally something we wouldn't do until we were number 1 or clear for takeoff. All right, pretty dark out there. So this is called the line-oriented flight training. So after all those maneuvers and approaches and engines failing, and FAA just wants to make sure that you know your normal procedures. Both it's the pilot monitoring and the pilot flying. So they'll do 2 legs usually of this stuff on your initial checkout. Like I say, when you actually initially check out as a captain with a major airline, the FAA has to ride in the jump seat during your first 25 hours with a check airman. That's after you finish all your sim training. So this is the last part of our sim training. But in this case, we got Rich Guy, who's rented Kennedy and Bradley, bought himself a big, beautiful airplane that he's going to paint his name on if he passes. He's got a bar back there, NFL package, NHL package, MLB package, NBA, big screen, 2 big screen TVs, 2 bedrooms, hot tub, all sorts of things. He's just not a very popular guy because not a very nice man, but this makes him popular. Now we're going to pretend this isn't happening. Okay? We're going to do what we can to help him out, but sort of on his own. That is a totally legit maneuver. He's supposed to do exactly what I did. Not, right? Just kidding. Bus is finally out of the way. And here we go. Dark, stormy afternoon. All right, let's come back inside. In the event of engine failure, you runway heading 3,000 feet, come back around for the ILS to 24, which is the long runway. There's no engine out procedure. Engine out acceleration altitude is 980, and that's set under the orange tab here. So we get profile, heading. It's going to be toga, which is here. They don't have it on the throttles here. Normally they do, but they don't now. It's not that I'm aware of. And let's say we're clear for takeoff. So I would give 1 ding to the crew. 10 that dinged. Already done, prepare for takeoff. What could go wrong, right? Let's go finish our check ride, get our type rating, start flying our friends around to exotic places in our private A-310. Wouldn't that be nice? All right. Yeah, I'm new to the Microsoft Flight Simulator, new to the YouTube. I have a tendency to do things outside the camera view because I have a wide screen, so I apologize in advance, but yeah, guys, I'm trying to get some subscribers and likes just so I can see if this is something I want to do as part of my retirement plan. Haven't decided if I'm going to keep flying. There's lots of flying jobs out there for old bastards right now. Oh, no, I can't make it for kids. Can't make it for kids. Final's clear. Lights are on. Everything looks good. I don't see any reason we can't go. Looks like runway 24 to me. Take it rolling. There we go. Yeah, I love this IniBuilds A-310. Thank you guys, IniBuilds, for doing this for Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is normally an $80 to $100 private aircraft when you have to buy one outside of Microsoft Flight Simulator. All right, there we are, runway heading, align, bring it up to 50%. Once the engines come up evenly at 50%, hit toga, in this case that button, and away we go. IniBuilds recommends you disable nose wheel steering prior to takeoff because it's very sensitive. I keep this on default in modern. There's 80 knots airspeed. The acceleration check is good. No clogged pitot tubes today. Let's get rid of that toga here. Sorry guys, cross-handed stuff. Sorry, I had to reach down across the cockpit to move that thing. All right, here we go. That was bad. I'm gonna pretend that didn't happen. Flaps up. Gears up, brother. Go right up into the bars. Yeah, I tried to reach over with my left hand to steer and get rid of that little mouse. Poor little mouse. All right, there's 1,000 feet. Power's going to come back. There it is. It's coming back to climb power for us, which is nice. See it? I love it. We're above F speed, so I'm going to bring the flaps up, leave the slats at 15. And it's flying nicely. Autopilot's on. I don't turn on the autopilot till it's really trimmed up. We're past S speed now. So S speed, flaps coming up. So what's our flow? It's spoilers down, brakes off, flaps and slats up, APU shut down if we had it on, climbing out in profile, and now there's a lot of weather out here. It's asked for about a 221 heading, and they give it to us, right? Let's do a heading right in there. I'm just, picture's worth 1,000 radar sweeps, right? Flying out, it's climbing out nicely. A little more. Looks good. Okay, I've takeoff climb check. After bringing the final flaps up, call for active takeoff climb. We're in profile. It's climbing out at just 250. Above 10 will accelerate probably about 315 or so. And we are using the radar, which actually I thought we had on. Okay. There it is. Now we got it, guys. You know, looks like to the left is better, so I did tell him request left turn. Let's say heading around 190. Roger, it's approved. Ini 100. Nice job, IniBuilds. Nice airplane. Guys, you should try this. You should try doing all 3 lessons out of 10, by the way. Desterilize them. Leave it in auto. Now, I don't want to really accelerate to 323 miles an knots, rather, with weather around. So I think what I'm going to do is go level change. Well, we're going up to 12. Never mind, let's let it level. Leveling at 12. Once we get there, we'll hit altitude hold and we'll maintain. I'm going to come, ask for the left, please. Heading 180. I'm looking out there. Looks good. Looks like it's got it figured out. Altitude hold. I'm just going to take it out of profile, guys. So what I want to do is bring this speed back. Turbulence penetration airspeed 280. I would tell the crew back there, whoever's back there, just remain seated. Just a lot of weather around. Now let's take the weather radar out a little further. Let's request direct Rosley. That looks like a good heading. Let's request direct Rosley. So the pilot monitoring goes out. Says, yeah, American Ini 100 request direct to Rosley for weather. They say it's approved because Kennedy belongs to us. All right, anytime you hit insert, right? Execute L. Oh, no nav. So you come up here and you hit nav. You get nav. So we're at turbulence penetration airspeed. That looks like a good weather radar heading. Now the FAA has the option in here of having us discuss, in the simulator we get some sort of malfunction, usually like a cargo fire or maybe dropping oil pressure, but it's usually nothing too severe. They want to see more how we do our normal procedures, react to weather, brief the flight attendants, brief the crew, things like that. All right, so we're going to get the ATIS. Say we got the ATIS at Kennedy. It's 2992 altimeter. And let's say for argument's sake, the ceiling is down around 1,000 feet. 1,000 feet, right? Is ILS 22 left. So we brief the approach, 110.9, 224. I like to set, we set this down to our decision height, which is 212. Another two-handed. So far my only critique is don't do a two-handed spinning your mouse on a check ride, right? On takeoff. So there's 212. We can actually set that in our decision height window as well. Press decision height, set it 200 above. I think you usually set this at -5 for takeoff. I should have done that. 200. All right. How far are we from Rosley? We need to be at Rosley at 3 and slow down. So I'm going to say 3 times our altitude to lose. Rosley is supposed to be there at 3, so that's 9 times 3 is 27. Oh, I'll give myself 15 miles to go down, slow down. That's 42. So, yeah, we're getting close. You know, it's my check ride. I probably get started early. So let's put in, I tell them, post descent down to 3,000. 3,000 in the window. And we can start down at 280 knots, descent. There it goes into speed. Throttles come to idle. And we could actually set our airspeed back to 250, which will give it a chance to slow down before we reach 10. Looks pretty clear out there, even though the radar is in scare mode. Looks pretty clear. I'm not going to worry about it. We do have 1,000-foot ceilings. Out of 11, slow into 250, going to 3. Rosley went across at 3, and look at this box, guys. It says Rosley at 3 and 304 knots. Now we'll be about 180 at Rosley. Decrease the range here. All right, there's 10, 250. Sterilize the guys. Let me go up this way. All right, coming in. Yeah, the FAA could give us a problem in here. Weather deviation might have been enough. They could give us simulated engine shutdown. This is Bridgeport, Connecticut, right out here. So we could go in there. New Haven's over here. We'll go into Kennedy. Getting down a little bit early. We'll slow down the descent. Vertical speed. We'll take this back to all the way back to like 700 feet per minute. So what do you got? That's what we wanted, 700 feet per minute. We got vertical speed, 700 feet per minute. Now this little line tells us where we'll be at whatever's in the window. Well, 3's in the window. So we're going to be at 3,000, some 20 miles prior to Rosley. I'll slow it down even a little more. Go with 500 feet per minute. Take it nice and slow. Yeah, so if we actually all of a sudden had a real bad emergency, we could put it down to New Haven, which is a short runway of Bridgeport. But for most instances, you know, if we had minor problems, I'd just continue on to Kennedy. FAA might want an explanation as to why you overflew Bridgeport and New Haven. Well, Bridgeport and New Haven, one's a 5,000-foot runway, the other's 7, and you're in an Airbus at a pretty high gross landing weight. All right, so let's take a look at the approach. Be 3040. And MDA is 212. Approach speed is 128 plus 5, 133. So each flaps 30, 40. The speed brakes are armed, and we'll use medium on the brakes when the time comes. I know this weather is kind of scary here. It's not particularly accurate. Let me get the tilt up a bit on it. See if that changes it. Nah, it doesn't do anything. All right, so we're getting down. It says we're going to be at Rosley. We're going to be at 3,000, just a little before Rosley. So we can increase that descent rate a little bit. About 1,000 feet per minute. Rosley in 33. The reason I'm seeing that is I've seen the arch on the descent path. So this is telling us at 1,000 feet per minute, going down to 3,000, we'll reach Rosley about 12 miles early. Give us time to go down and slow down. We tried to avoid the weather, but in this case we're going in. Straight on in. Going in, that's not a good way to say that. Hey, you know what? I think if you click Final Approach, I'm not going to do this. It'll just extend the center line out for you. It's pretty cool. I never saw that before when I was practicing for this. By the way, IniBuilds has a great manual. I have the link in the description below. I'll leave it for you. All the information I've been talking about is going to be in there. I went through the manual. It's like a 75-page manual. It's written by pilots without a doubt. It's pitch and power settings, flap speeds, all the stuff a pilot would want to know. Then they even have films for returning to airliners or new to airliners. It's really a 4-part series. After the introduction, there's 3. You got to get the right one on YouTube, and they're very, very good. There's a lot of instructional videos out there in the A310. Theirs are definitely the best, in my opinion. A little dark, huh? I'm not going to put that storm light on because I can't see the FMS with it on. All right, Rosley's at 26 miles. I'll bring the speed back just a tad. Say 235. And that speed, clean mid maneuver here, it's saying, well, it doesn't even have the flap speed on here, so we can go much slower than that. Slowing down. Everyone in the cabin's prepared for landing. We briefed the approach. 212 decision height, 110.9, 224. In the event of missed approach, it's in the box. It's eventually gonna go up to 3,000 on the miss. Over to chant and hold. If there was weather in the air, we'd brief the wind shear procedures, but there isn't. 1,000-foot ceilings, we expect to break out 1,000 after landing on runway 22 left, 8,500-foot runway. We'll plan on turning off at Juliet, holding short of the right side. Rosley's at 20 miles. And we call 4 for 3. Yeah, I turned up the lights. That's a lot better, right? Man. It's nasty. How you guys doing over there, Bob? Steve, you cool? How am I doing? I know I should have been playing with my mouse on takeoff. Okay, coming in. Steve doesn't tell you anything. Stoic. But let's go down to 30 miles in the range. We can go 15. Rosley's at 18. Might be getting a little bumpy in here. We are going through some weather. I'll probably bring the back a little more. You know what I might do out here, guys, is get a Flaps to 15, slats to 15 rather. Just give myself a little margin going through the bad weather. I sure hope you can see everything I'm talking about. Yeah, I've had a couple of videos, I've made them and had to redo them just because I realized I was off camera half the time. So, as I mentioned, kind of new to the YouTube thing, new to the sim world. I'm really liking it. I've just been flying airplanes for 43 years, 7 in the Air Force, 36 with American. I am done traveling, but I'm not done flying. You guys have a good gig going on here. I think I may just want to be part of your world. I'll make some instructional videos, I'll make some fun videos, and try to build a following, make that part of my retirement stuff I do. I do other things. Don't golf though. I have. It's not good. It's a public service. I don't go to the golf course. That or the beach. Or at least I don't take the shirt off. So, all right. Coming up on Rosley, got 11 miles to go. We're in the weather. Take a look outside. IniBuilds, you're the man, or the people. That's Rich Guy, last leg of his check ride. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. Can get that all straightened out. That's an interesting picture there. How does that jive with what the radar's saying? Yeah, pretty accurate, pretty accurate. All right, so at Rosley, the glide slope is going to start coming down. I'm going to be at 180 knots. The reason I'm going to do that is I want to be slowed down. Plus, Rich Guy closed Bradley, closed Kennedy too. So he's got run of the place, so no one's going to get upset if we slow down early. Yeah, I don't know when the auto brakes arm. Maybe after the gear's down. Maybe that's part of your triggers. The Airbus is big on triggers and flows. It's an event that occurs. The ground crew calls you. You gotta. That's a trigger. There's a flow. You start the second engine. 2 good engine starts. That's a trigger to a flow. All right. See this? We're good all the way down to slat speed of 173. Let's set that. Flaps up here. I'm gonna bring some flaps out. Alright, how's it look out there? Nothing. Oh, is it going to start climbing up on me? No, don't do that. Don't do that. There it goes, it figured it out. There we go. I'm not going to arm the land for a while. I mean, when I do, I think I'll go both set up almost like a land 3 just for fun. But we're doing a Cat 1 because sometimes it does funky things if you do that. Other thing I've noticed on this ILS to 22 left at Kennedy, at around 700 or 800 feet sometimes the glide slope drives out of view. No idea why, but it does. Bring one more notch of flaps. 1 dot will get gear and final flaps. So right now we're going to 20-20. At slats 20, flaps 20. Keeping an eye out for that glide slope to come down. When it does, I'll arm the approach. Right now I'm not seeing the localizer. I'd be getting nervous. 110.9, 224. There's the glide slope's alive. I'm going to reach up. Hit land. And I've already got a low capture. Localizer capture. This approach altitude's already set. This thing's very happy up here at 3,200 feet. We're going to let it do it. All right, there we go. Gear down. This A310, you got to reach over and bring it down the rest of the way. Spoiler levers onto triggers. Spoiler levers armed. Auto brakes. Medium. Here we go. It's Cat 3 because they have both autopilots, so we're not doing a Cat 3. We're just playing around. We should get glide slope capture. And glide slope capture, gear down, bring the flaps to 30-40. Final flaps. And bring the speed back. 133, I think we said. Go to 135. All right, gears down, flaps at 30-40, spoilers on, auto brakes are medium, before landing checklist, and go to tower and they clear us to land. Lights are all on, and we'll say we're clear to land. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose this glide path, but the reason I'm briefing the Cat 1, not a Cat 3, Cat 3 won't work in this on runway 22 left. It works on 4 right. 22 left has all sorts of problems. Now this airspeed is not coming back. Why not? Let me help it a little bit. Pop a little spoilers out. Why is it not coming up back? It's very happy up there. No idea. Bring the spoilers back up. They're up. Very strange. Maybe it's coming back just super slowly. So we got glide slope capture, low capture, Zalpo at 1800. That's a mandatory call out. Cat 3 is displayed, although we're not doing one. Airspeed is taking its time getting back there. It's hanging out a little high. Alright, let's have a little fun. Autopilot's off. Clicking it. Hand flying. See if I can get control of the airspeed. Nope. Throttles do not want to cooperate. You do the auto throttles off too. Yeah, I got autopilot auto throttles off, runways in sight. Yeah, for whatever reason, it does not want to slow down. Makes me nervous, like the gear's not down, but it is. Gear and flaps are 30-40. Anytime it's not doing what you think, you get a little nervous, right? All right, we're going to plan on turning off at Juliet after we grease this one on for the FAA, get our type rating, start flying around in this bad boy. You guys are all invited. You got to like sports, and you got to like the bar I have set up. I'm talking cocky. We'll see how I do here. See how I do. Talking a little smack. Looks like a little bit of a right cross, right? Oh, airspeed's a little bit slow. Throttle's coming in. A little slow to react. There we go. It's behaving a little strangely, guys, I have to tell you. Throttles aren't doing exactly. There we go. Autopilot's off. I don't know why it did that. Don't know why it did that. Yeah, it's behaving like a simulator. All right, it's all right. We're back. We're back. We're no worse for the wear.
Sync rate. Full up.
Full power.
Full up.
It's not doing anything.
100.
All right. You know what? This is a very strange final approach it's doing for me.
15, 14, 15, 19, 10, 5.
Very strange. Very strange indeed. Yeah, that was a simism. The airplane definitely was not cooperating. Throttles were not cooperating, but 80, up to 60, got to be out of reverse by 60. I hate to end it like that, but you know what? I am going to. And we would taxi all the way to the gate. Reach up here, turn off the auto brakes, because even though we've gone manual, the airplane, the auto brakes don't come off in the sim, so you always got to reach out and go manual. Very strange. So transition to land, we had the autopilot, auto throttles off, and when the glide slope went away, the airplane veered all over the place as if the autopilot were chasing it, yet we had no autopilot. After that, the throttles didn't work. I had them back and forth. I don't know. But anyway, we obviously would have gone around, but it's a good. We're going to say, Steve, I saved the day, Steve. I saved the day. Fucking hero. So anyway, now it definitely can't be for kids. Flaps up after landing checklist. Reach up here. Spoilers are up. Beacon should be on. Lights off. Light to taxi. Landing lights are off. Off wing lights are all the way off. And we hold short of 22, right? Alright guys, no need showing you how to park. Two things, you know, playing with the mouse at rotation to get that cursor out of the way so I could explain it. Plus a little directional control. And there on final, obviously, a go around, but airplane was locked in some sort of a funky mode. Flaps coming up. Thought we salvaged it, we land. That's not exactly how you would handle a real airplane, but we're going to say that we're signed off. Let's put it this way, I set the bar pretty low on that final here. Let's stop here and say that I would appreciate you subscribing or liking or both. Subscribing is the big one. And it was fun 3-part series. Let me know what you guys think. And Father Time is out. See ya.